Hi students. It's Tuesday, June the 12th, and we are in week 3 of our 10-week summer semester course. And so we have some more due dates this week. In particular, something very, very important is your Connect homework for chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4 are due this Thursday night. Now, it's all due Thursday because Friday the test will be opened up to you, so you need to be wrapping up. Remember, the whole reason that you do homework is to prepare for the test, so you want to do a good job on the homework. In the Connect homework, I hope that even if you did well on an assignment, that you're going back and revisiting that Connect work. The problem will be presented to you with different numbers in it. The problems will be presented in a different order. In other words, what was number 1 for you is going to be number 3 for somebody else, that type of thing, because you're not memorizing that the answer is 12. You're understanding, when I see this problem, this is the type of problem it is. This is the process that I apply. The process is the same even if the numbers change, right? So the more you repeat it, the more comfortable you are with the process, with, going through the math steps and getting the right answer, right? So that's the whole purpose of going through and doing this. Now, one other due date that you have, you'll see in pause. I'm going to switch over here to my pause tab. And if you have these events, this is a little tab that you can collapse and expand. You'll notice that your orientation, pause orientation quiz is due. I think your discussion board, I believe everybody's done that one already though, and that one's graded. So remember that upcoming events is not just due dates, it's upcoming. So it could be that you have an assignment that's about to open. As soon as you finish your exam, you're going to start working, for example, on the next learning project, on your extra credit for chapters 5 and 6. So, you'll have more to do, and you want to stay, ahead of the curve. You don't want to fall behind, so you want to keep working. Okay, but the real big thing that we want to talk about is, of course, exam number 1. Your first exam is coming due. So what I want to do is come over here to the content area in pause. And once you get here, I want to scroll on down the page, right? And there's all the orientation material. Now, listen to me on this. You can collapse some of these things so that you don't have to scroll quite as far, but don't forget about them. And one reason I leave them expanded is so that I remember things like, here's the link to the course syllabus, and here's the link to the schedule, that type of thing, okay? So just be aware of that. Also, 9 times out of 10, if you tell me that you have run into, you can't remember how to log in to Connect, you can't remember your password, here's that phone number. I'm going to send you back to that, right? And this is all part of that course orientation. How do I use the Dropbox, that kind of thing, under pause. So, just remember all these things are here, as well as what do you do if you're still lost, right? Okay, so I'm scrolling down. There's chapter 1. You finished that. Chapter 2, you finished that with all that good information. Chapter 3, lots of good information there. And even chapter 4, which brings you to exam number 1. I'm going to click on this. I've just recently updated this instruction sheet, and I want to go over it with you. I paused the video while this loaded. One thing that I want to tell you about this is be patient so that the document has time to load. Also, one other thing, you'll notice this is really small right here. You can change and make this bigger. However, and maybe we can go over it this way. However, one thing that I do, see this little floppy disk right here? What I'll do sometimes is save this to my desktop. That way you've got it, you can go back to it without having to go all the way through pause and all that kind of stuff. So you might want to do that. In fact, I strongly encourage that, right? Okay. For summer 2012, and that's you guys, notice this has 2 pages. So let's just kind of walk through some of the important information. First and foremost, you are expected to complete your exams independently. Let me tell you just a quick note on this. The exam questions are going to come from the homework. Remember, the numbers are randomly generated. Also, the questions are randomly pulled from a pool of questions. But if you've done the homework, then you have nothing to worry about. This is very straightforward. I'm not pulling any tricks on you. You do need this information for the real world as well as for future courses. If you don't understand, you need to be asking questions along the way. You know, kind of the old adage, cheaters never prosper, but in addition to that, because I am being such a straight shooter with you, giving you the problems, it's open notes, it's open book, I frown on cheating, and you need to know that. There are many ways to understand that you have cheated. I have a PhD in information systems. What I like to say to students is I do know how to use a computer. So what you need to understand is you are expected to complete your exams independently. Okay, enough said about that, but you know, come on. I've given you the questions in advance, okay? So let's get on to the meat of things here. The window of availability. The exam will only be available to you from Friday morning, June the 15th. You can jump up at 5 a.m. Woohoo! And start working on that exam. You know, as much as I chuckle at that, I do routinely have workers who say, I have to be at work at 6 or I get off at such and such a time at 3 o'clock in the morning. By the time I have dinner and get ready to take the test, 5 o'clock is perfect. So it does. It's open to you as of 5 a.m. and it closes, and I mean even if you're in the middle of taking it, it closes at 11:55 p.m. Now, I'm going to tell you, since this is your first test, my general strategy on this. Friday, since this is when the test becomes available, kind of think about it as a class meeting and you have to be there for the test, right? Set up some time, take it on Friday. Now, some of you work on Friday, you're tired, and maybe Saturday is your off day. So, okay, maybe then Saturday is the day that you set to take it. But Sunday is your safety net day. When I look and see who's taken the test and who hasn't taken the test, when I see that you haven't taken the test and it's Sunday and now it's Sunday at 2 o'clock and now it's Sunday at 7 o'clock and now it's Sunday at 10 o'clock, and by the way, I'm not really checking a Sunday at 10 o'clock because I'm going to be asleep. So then you email me and you say, I had difficulty with the exam, and of course that email comes in on Sunday, and you tell me that the libraries are closed and your friend who has a computer, your relative, that they're out of town on Sunday and it's too late for you to make alternate arrangements. Well, see, here's the problem. The problem didn't happen on Sunday. It happened back here Friday and Saturday because that's when you should have been taking the test. I have long lectures I do on this, but let me make the point that I'll make as we go down through the information here, which is, first of all, everyone's clock is slightly different. If you email me and say, my clock said 11:52 and the system cut me off, well, that's because your clock is wrong. Okay, so you say, well, how do I know how to set my clock? Here's how you know. You don't cut it that close. That's how you know. Okay, so this is a little bit tougher than the interactions that we've had, and I understand that, but the reason for that is I want you to succeed, and this is how you're going to do it. You're going to plan to take that test Friday or Saturday, or you know, early on Sunday, not later, right? If you mess up, then you might end up with a score of 0. From the syllabus, you know that everybody has 1 drop grade. I would hate to see you use that up on this very first test. But that being said, every semester students routinely do. You don't think I'm serious, and you kind of mess around with this, and you think it's going to be real easy, and then you run into trouble. And that will be your drop grade. Okay, so don't do that. Now, just because this is when the test is available does not mean that you have 3 days to take it, okay? Time limits do apply as soon as you start the test. Very, very important. A couple other things here. I'm going to try not to go on too long, but you have 1 attempt, okay? Now, you're going to click the test over here in Connect. You're going to see that the test is going to become available. You'll click on that. It'll prompt you for a password. I'll give you the password in just a second. And when you type in the password and you hit OK or whatever, the clock will start. Now, your time limit, as you'll see down here on the handout, is 100 minutes. That's a little longer than a typical class meeting. If a class meeting is an hour and a half, you know, that gives you just a little bit extra. So, once you start the test, if you save and exit, guess what? That clock is still running, and there goes your 1 attempt. You better get back in there and finish it because that's your 1 attempt. You're using it up. Okay, so that's your one attempt. You know, you need to get back at it because the clock is ticking. That clock does not stop. Okay, let's say that lightning strikes. Okay, well, first of all, Connect is a pretty smart system, and if you stay at that computer, now if you change to a different computer, all bets are off. But if you stay at that computer, if you log back in, it's probably going to pick up where it left off. Probably. Okay, but emails that say my America Online account has broken down, I lost internet connection, my computer crashed in the middle of this, and I love the tone of the emails because they are very nonchalant always, and they say, you know, just open that test back up. No, you have one attempt. Okay, what that means is that when you get to that point where you are, excuse me, I'm sorry here, where you get to that point where you're seeing the test questions, then that is the one attempt has started. It was used up right at that point. So finish it so that you do well. Now, at this point, the ones who don't take me seriously probably still are not, and the ones who take everything really, really overly dramatically are getting nervous. So let me tell you this. This is no different than if you were sitting in a classroom and the instructor passed out a test. You have to be prepared to sit down, take the entire test at that point, and finish it. And that's what I'm saying here. If you have a rickety old computer and it always, craps out on you, and the battery has trouble in that laptop, and you have all kinds of problems, then this is what you need to do. Then you need to drive maybe to campus, right, where there's a reliable computer and a reliable internet connection. You need to cull out some time, make plans so that the kids can go do something else, right? Somebody can take care of them during that time, and sit down and use your hour and a half and finish the test and take it seriously. This will not be hard for you if you've done the homework and you organize yourself. You got your book there, you've got your notes there, and you're organized. Now, if you click and you say, I'm going to get started here, oh, I think I'm going to go have some pizza. Well, yeah, now you've got problems, right? Okay, you know that. This is just like any other test, okay? So you do have one attempt. Now, I'm going over this handout with you, but I do encourage you to read it. Make sure I didn't skip over information. Okay, when I set a time limit and 100 minutes, let me tell you something very important. Some of you folks get a little crafty, and you know that, for example, on pause, and if you don't know, I guess I'm letting the cat out of the bag, that sometimes, if you crash your browser, you just close it, or you just restart the computer, pull the plug out, whatever you do, that pause will stop the clock. Connect does not. And it should not. It's not supposed to. You have 100 minutes from the time that you stopped. The clock does not stop for any reason. Had a young lady last semester who emailed me and said, I started the test and then I saved an exit and I went to church. Well, there went that 100 minutes and there went that one attempt. Okay? It's a test, folks. Sit down, have your book, have your notes organized, you're ready to begin, right? So tell me more about the test is what you're saying. Get on with it already. Well, alrighty. The test is 10 questions, and each of those questions is 5 points each. Where do those questions come from? They are randomly chosen from the homework, chapters 1 through 4. The numbers are going to randomly change, but the questions are no surprise to you, right? I'm sorry, I'm scrolling there and it's going to the next page. Okay, now I told you there would be a password, so you're going to log into Connect that day. You're going to click, just as I showed you, exam number 1, and you're going to type in the password, and the password is just simply good luck. You'll notice that there are no spaces. You will notice that it is all lowercase letters. Okay, now once you complete the test, it's very, very important that you click submit. This is in essence you turning the test in. So you're going to click that. I believe I need to double check the settings, but I believe you're going to see your numeric grade. I might even hold that back from you immediately, but you will not immediately see the detailed grading. I hold on to that for 5 days. So if you log back into the system on Friday or Saturday, probably Saturday, a week after the test, you will be able to see the test in great detail, every problem, and how it was graded, just like your homework is. If you have issues with it, you can certainly get back to me, but the questions, again, will be familiar to you. Every once in a while, a strange set of numbers might occur. That's the gist of it. I hope you're ready for it, and if you have questions, just feel free to ask. One final note I almost forgot to tell you is on the test, the one difference between the test and the homework is the check my work feature is disabled. Also, the ebook, if you bought the ebook, the link that goes directly from the problem to the ebook, I believe I have that also disabled. It's a test. You need to be confident that the numbers you've prepared that you're entering in, that is correct. And so I'm looking for accuracy, speed, competency here as you go through. Again, you prepared with the homework. You're going to do great, folks. I hope this didn't sound like a scolding. I have been so impressed with the work this class has done. Just keep up the good work, and you guys are going to do great. I have every confidence in you. That's why the password is, once again, let me scroll down, if I can scroll down to that. The password is good luck, and I wish you every success, and I know you're going to do great.